Hi everyone. So in today's Figma session, I would like to discuss the building blocks of any UI design project, which are your color styles, text styles, and components, and how they'll help you maintain and organize your design projects, as in when you come back to it later on. Okay, so let's get right into it, and let's start with the color styles. So color styles basically act as your color palette, and if you design any app, you might have noticed that there is a consistent color palette throughout the applications. So I'll tell you how to define your color palette. So first of all, let's see from these colors here. So if I choose this color and if I go onto fill and click on the style button, and you might have some color styles uh, pre-existing in your project. And if you want to create a style, just click on create style, and then the naming convention goes like, if you want this color to be your primary color, name it primary slash light or dark. So for now I would name it primary dark color, and you shouldn't use generic color names such as black or green, since they are not used as black or green colors in your application. They are used as primary color or secondary color or accent colors. So I have named this primary dark color, so it shows up here under the primary heading. And now if I want to name this color as my secondary color, what I would simply do is go onto this fill, click on style, and add it under the secondary colors. So this is my secondary color. For example, if I want to have 5 secondary colors or 3 secondary colors, so I can just name it secondary slash light. And you can also name it by the intensity of color that they have. So for example, this is a light color, it can have lighter shades. So for now I'd be naming it secondary light and 200. Or you could just skip light and you could name it secondary slash 200. So this would be under the header of secondary, and it would show up here. So how these color styles work is that if I change this color to my primary color and I change this to my, so let us keep all the parents on above and the children below, or these are also called instances of that color. So if I have my primary color here, I have, and I choose the secondary color here, and if I choose primary again here, and I choose my secondary again here. So what you might notice is that if I click on this shape, you might see that the primary slash dark is denoted here. So that it means that I have chosen it from my palette of predefined colors. So now how it helps is that if I go on to this color, or if I click anywhere outside uh, an object, I would see my primary colors there or all my colors there. So if I want to edit my color, say I don't like the black color anymore, I want to change it to a shade of red, light red. So what it would do is wherever I have used this color, it would change all the instances of it to the new color. So this is how you should define color styles, and this will also help you in defining text styles and components later on. So yeah, so this is how you define your color styles. This is one of the most basic elements in any design project. So you must first define these at a centralized location, or you must make them global. And if you don't have them global, then you must choose an instance from here and you're good to go for color styles. So the next thing that I would like to discuss is the text styles. So these are the two most basic and most important parts of any UI design project that you would take on. So text styles are predefined styles of your text that you can replicate throughout your application, and they have a global definition, so that every time you edit the global definition of a textile, all the similar textiles get edited. And the global definition is called a parent, and all the places that it is used at are called its instances. So one great thing that Figma has is that the color and alignment of the instances of a textile are independent of the parent. So it causes or it makes the text style definition very easy, as opposed to Sketch, where you have to define a text style for every color and every alignment. So it makes it really easy to kind of define your text styles and not think much about the color and alignment, which you can edit later on in your instances. So how you define a text style is, you have your font, you have a font weight, you have a text size, you have your line height, you have character spacing, and then you have case. So this is how you would define a text style. And a text style works in a file system manner. So if you were to open any file in your computer and you were to go to its properties, it would be defined in one such way that you have C slash the folder name, and then you have the file name, and then you have other layers of where the file is saved. So this is the best this is the best type of definition that I use. So this works best for me since I can arrange my text styles in a way that they are accessible. So let me show you how you can define a text style in Figma. For example, I click on this and I see the properties of text here, and the font is Google Sans, and the weight is bold, the size is 36, and the line height is 45. So 45 means that the height of any individual line would be 45. And you can also define it in terms of percentage. So if I decide to give it a percentage of 150, so the line height would be 36 times 150, so 150% of 36, which would approximately be equal to 54. So if I give it a percentage, so it would automatically adjust the line height of this to be 150% of this size. So as you can see that the line height is showing up here and also here in the height 54. All right, and this is the character spacing. So you can also adjust it. You can also give it an absolute value, the same as the line height. So now if I want to define a text style, I simply click on this styles and I click on create a text style. Okay, so as you might see in the background, that the definition of text style that works best for me, it might be different for you. So let me define it as text slash the weight is bold, the size is 36, but I wouldn't define it as 36. I would define it in relative terms, like I can define it as 900, and I can have text larger than that to be defined as 1000, 1100, and so on, and the text smaller than that to be 800, 700, and so on. So let me define it as 900, and then then let me give it the case that it has. So it has a uppercase, so I would define it as uppercase. Okay, so this is how I would define a text style. So as you might have noticed that it also shows fill, so I can choose a color style as well. So a color style is independent of the definition of a text style. So for example, if I want to give this text or this text anywhere a text style, I can simply click on it. I can go on to the styles and I would have my text style out here. So let me just click on it and the text style would be replicated. So the earlier text style had the earlier definition of this text was not the same as the text style you defined. So I have given it this text style, and let me choose the color from my palette. So I have chosen a primary color and a secondary color. So if I go on and change my primary color now to another color, you can see that all of its instances are changed accordingly. So this is a really good ethic or the organization that you must do while starting out a design project. All right, so now let's move on to components. So what components are? That they are the building blocks of any application or any screen that you see. So one of the most basic or one of the most used components in a design is a button. So a button is a collection of a textile. As you can see the text here, it is a textile. So let me give it a textile. So yeah, let me create another frame and then show you how to define it from scratch. I'm clicking on A, which you can, or you can come in here and choose the frame option, and you can choose any of the templates somewhere. So I am choosing an Instagram post, which is a square frame. So now let me zoom in and create a rectangle by the shortcut R, and let me draw out a rectangle here. All right, like so. So let me adjust its height to about 40 pixels, and let me insert some text by clicking on the text icon. So let me type out some text. Okay, so yeah, so this is how, yeah, aligning these. So what you can also do to align these two is select this text, select this rectangle, and go on to aligning their horizontal centers and aligning their vertical centers. All right, and then what you can do is you can click on both, and you can group them by clicking on command or control or G. So when they are grouped, you might see an option here of auto layout. So what this does is it defines your button by giving it, yeah, let me just increase the size of this rectangle. So now that I've increased the size of this rectangle, let me add it to an auto layout. So what it would do is it would have the same distance from the left and right and top and bottom, which you can define when you click on this frame that it has created of auto layout, and you can give it how much spacing you want or how much padding you want, which is a technical term for the spacing on left and right and top and bottom. So horizontal spacing, let me give it as 40, and let me give the vertical spacing as 20. So now what you would see is that the height of this button would be dependent on the height of this text. So for example, for now I have this text to be a height of 61. So now let me give it a text style, let me give it uppercase. So as you can see that the height of this button currently is 101. We cannot edit it because we have chosen the option of auto height. And let me edit this text style. So how you can select this text inside a group is by clicking on the control button and clicking on it with your mouse. And so let me give it this text style. So as you can see, this height automatically adjusts. So now I have this text to be height of 54, and the top and bottom distance would remain same as we have defined here. So let me also give it a color style. Okay, and let me click on this again and give this button a color. So let us define another color, or let us just give it the secondary color and give this background a black color, and let us define this color as something. So let us define this color as our secondary color, secondary slash dark. Okay, and slash 500 for example. Okay, so I have defined this color, and now our button is created. So what I can do with this button is I can simply click on it and click on this icon above which says create component. So now I will create a component out of it. So the component automatically takes the name of the layer that you had created. So for example, it had name of frame 59, which is not the convention. You should always name your components in a file system manner. So what I would do for this button is, if this button is a primary button for me, so I would define it as component slash button slash primary. All right, so yeah, just let me rename it real quick by double clicking on this layer, or you can also use the shortcut clicking on this layer and clicking on Control and R. So let me name this as component slash button slash primary. So I have named it to component slash button slash primary. So what the convention says is that you should have all your components on one page. So let me create a page and name it component page. So now that I have created another page for my components, let us go back to our original page and right click on this and send it to the component page. So now that we have sent it to our components page, it would be accessed from this assets panel. So now I had defined a few buttons already. Let me collapse this. So as you can see, the name of the page would be the header, and if you expand it, you would see that I have my button here. So let me drag and drop it here. So now so this is an instance. How would you know that it's an instance? You simply click on it and see that there's an empty square on the layers panel. So this is an instance of the component that we created. So this is editable from here. And if you want to edit it individually, you can also do that. So what we can do is we can simply click on this color and change it. And we can select this text and we can simply change this color to another color, say black. So you can edit all the instances of a button or any other component, and you can build multiple components based on the smaller components that you create. So one last component that I will create today is a card. So let me just create a card. Let me draw out a rectangle. I am drawing a really big component so that it is visible, but you must follow standards that are defined in the design libraries, such as the material design or the um, Apple design guidelines, basically. And yeah, let's create a rectangle and give it a color of white. So why I'm not picking this from a color stylus, because it would also edit the colors where I want the background of the screen or the page to be dark. So I'm defining it individually here. And let's go here to effects, click on it. It would give it a drop shadow. You can edit the drop shadow from here. You can edit the blur. And now create another rectangle. Okay. And now let's place an image inside. So click on this rectangle, right click, go to plugins. So plugins you can install from manage plugins and then searching for plugins. So one of the most used plugins that I have is Unsplash. You can get royalty-free images to use in your design. And if you click on any of these, it would insert a random image. Yeah, so I have this image inserted in this card. And now I want to add some text here. So let me click on this T, start typing out my text. This is a card. Alright, so it has already taken up the text style. So let me also give it a color. I've given this a color from our palette, and now let's space it evenly from left and top. So let us space it 30 from top and bottom. Okay, so now let's type in the helper text or the subtitle. This is the subtitle text. So I don't want this text to be the same height or the same size as the title text. So what I would do is I would detach it from this text style, reduce its size to say 24 pixels, and change the casing to title case and change the weight to medium, and then define another text style, create style. So I would name it text slash medium slash, for example, 600. So we can fit in more textiles in between 36 and 24 size. So this is another textile that I've defined, and let's give it a color from here. Let me choose this color for now, and when we have a lighter color in our palette, we'll use that. So now let's also add a button here. Go on to our assets, drag and drop this button here, double click on the text and give it some other text like click me. Alright, and now let's space it evenly from left and right. Now it's spaced evenly. Now let's make a selection out of it, group it, go back to our layers, double click here or just click on Control and R and then rename it to component slash card slash action. Why I'm naming it action is because I have an actionable button in here. So let us click on this and create a component out of it, and let us send it to our components page. So now that we have sent it to our components page, we can access it from assets, go into components page, and then we have our card over here. So let us drag and drop it here. And now what we can simply do is come in here, edit this text to our liking. This is a card and an instance. So for example, you want to change the text of this card. So click me twice. So now we'll drag it. We'll click on double click here and drag this selection. So you can see what other components you have inside. So let me drag this button. Just a second. Okay. So yeah, this auto layout button would not be a great idea to be used. So yeah, so this is how you create a component, and you can also unlink it from its parent, and you can also edit this image. Right click and then choose another image. So let us change this text back to click me. And now if you want to duplicate this or create a grid out of this card, so what you can simply do is right click on it. I have a plugin installed, or let us install a plugin for this. Go to manage plugins, go to plugins, browse plugins, and install this plugin pattern. Just a second. So this is a plugin that you can install, Pattern Hero, and these plugins would always stay with you whichever machine you log into. They are saved on your cloud. Okay, so now let me duplicate this. Let's click on this component, right click on it, go to plugins and click on Pattern Hero, and we can choose how many cards we want or how many rows and columns of card we want, and we can also give it padding, the spacing between each card. So let us give it 10 and create a pattern out of this. So now as you can see, we have just created a grid out of a single component. So this is how you can duplicate your components, and when you create a grid, and you can select how much spacing you want horizontally and also vertically. So this is how you would create a grid. Yeah, so this is a basic overview of how components work. And if you want to try something out, I can give you an assignment which you can do and reach out to me on my social handles, and you can also tag me, and I would really appreciate if you try to attempt this any one of these exercises and start your own joy project. Okay, so yeah, this was a basic overview of how color styles, text styles, and components work in Figma. I hope they quicken your workflow or make your workflow easy while starting out any UI design project. Yeah, so this was it from this video. And if you have any suggestions, you can leave them down in the comments and reach out to me on any of my social platforms. And yeah, see you next time. Thank you for watching.